Benvindos in this masterclass Study in Germany 2027. So as I explained you guys, I explained you guys, we gonna see together the different steps. So to study in Germany, especially what you have to do before going to Germany, then what you have to do once you are in Germany, because you have lots of process. You don't, as I said, you don't need a visa, but it means like all the processes you won't have to do before, you have to do it una vez and in Germany. And there will be a third part, a little bit shorter, in which we're gonna talk about the cultural integration. Um, I didn't present myself, so nice to meet you guys. I am Théo. I am French. You can maybe hear it in my accent. I'm right now living in Mexico, so I apologize for my English. A veces I'm gonna do a little bit of espingles. I hope you're gonna understand me. I have more than 8 years of experience in international mobility, and as a French, I lived, studied, and traveled in all Europe. Germany is a country I know very well. So not only I can talk about it from a process, from a visa perspective, but also from a cultural, from a touristic point of view, and I think it's going to be very interesting. And as I told you, I live in Mexico. That's why I will do a little bit of espingles sometimes during this presentation. And most important, I am an expert in academic processes and visa. So it's very important for you guys, because you will see in Europe, in comparison with America Latina, we have lots of bureaucracy, a lot of bureaucracy. So, but it's okay. We're gonna repass. We're gonna sit together, so you won't make the mistakes. Basically, 90% of the students are making usually. So to present muy briefly what is Studely. Studely is a company which is helping the students in their international mobility. Studely, I'm not gonna spoil right now what we are doing, even if I think you read my email. We provide seguros, insurance, Sperrkonto, blocked account. But what I will tell you for now is that we have 10 years of experience, and we already helped more than 50,000 students in their mobility to Germany, to France, to Spain, to Belgium, basically to lots of countries in Europe. And so yes, the objective of the masterclass, guys, you already know it. It is to get ready, to know what you have to do before going to Germany, to know what to do once you get in Germany, and finally how to enjoy the local culture, how to enjoy Germany like a professional. Yes, I know lots of students. It's been sometimes I work with students, and I know sometimes the idea is that the most difficult is to get the admission in Germany. But spoiler alert, the most difficult, it's the most easy part to get the admission. Then you have to get all the processes to get in Germany, and this is where it's getting complicated. So that's what we're gonna see together. As I told you, the good news is that you don't need a visa. As Brazilian, with the Brazilian passport, you can get directly to Germany without the visa. But once you get in Germany, you will have to do lots of processes to validate your inscription, to validate your stay in Germany, and you have to anticipate it, because if you wait to get in Germany to think about this, it's gonna be a mess, it's gonna be a nightmare, honestly. So when you receive your admission letter, Rafael and Jed, you already told me it's your case. So this is the next step you have to do. Basically, it's very easy. You have to confirm your spot with the German university and check the instructions from this German university. But also, if you're already studying in Brazil in a local university, you have to check with your international office what are the instructions. Because if you didn't postulate, if you didn't candidate as an independent, but if you candidate through your university in Brazil, there might be some conditions, some specific processes related to the exchange program, and you have to deal with it. You have to talk with your university in Brazil. It's very important. Then you have to complete what is called the immatriculation, which is basically the official enrollment in your university. It's something you have to do online. And you will need, that's very important, guys, you will need a definitive confirmation of your German university. because this definitive confirmation is something you're gonna be asked to provide in many steps of your process later. So you have to make sure like your university in Germany give you this immatriculation. Most of the time you have to fill a form with each university, and in exchange they will give you this famous immatriculation, which is like the officialization that you will come to Germany to study. And as I told you, well, you don't need a visa as such, but you have to anticipate the documents you're gonna need in Germany, because you will have just a few weeks to confirm your inscription, to confirm your stay in Germany. So it's better to anticipate to avoid to be overwhelmed between the classes, between the parties, and between the processes. Okay. So this is the key documents you will have to provide once you get in Germany. Obviously, you will have to provide your Brazilian passport, your immatriculation, which is basically the admission letter I just mentioned. You will have to find an accommodation. I will get in detail about this, but the part of the accommodation is super important. You will have normally to get also a travel insurance, a health insurance, which is super important, because without this you cannot finalize your inscription in your university. And of course, I put it in red, you know, it's the proof of financial resources, which is called a blocked account, a Sperrkonto. There's many ways to call it, but basically this is the most important part of your processes, the proof of financial resources, because that's what's gonna show to the government of Germany you are able to study, you have the means, the resources to study in Germany for 1 semester or 2 semesters. So yes, it's what I said. Basically, you don't need a visa to get in Germany, but it doesn't mean you don't have to do any processes. So you have to take this in account to anticipate. Proof of financial resources. So it's basically, as we were talking before, the consulates, the government of Germany will ask you to show you have a solvency, you have basically the money to finance. It's not about showing you can finance your school, it's more to show that you are able to finance your food, your accommodation, your transports, the plane ticket, etc. So basically, they want to be sure you can get in Germany and don't have problem of money, to be sure that you can follow your classes without being preoccupied, being busy with the themes of money. And what does the consulate requires? Guys, I know lots of you have the admission, so you already know kinds of how much you have to provide. It's basically 990 euros for every month you will stay in Germany. So basically, if you stay 1 year, you have to multiply by 12, and it's more like 11. It's practically 12,000 euros you have to show you have disponible for 1 year in Germany. Of course, if you stay 1 semester, it's gonna be more or less 6,000 euros you have to justify with the German authorities. And how to show you have the money, because obviously you cannot just show your bank account and say I have the money. It has to be a little bit more complicated, because we love that in Europe. We love the bureaucracy. So you have 3 options. I think it's Jade who makes the questions. You have basically 3 ways to show your resources and to validate your inscription. The first thing is that if you have a scholarship, it is a way to justify your resources. But basically, you have to show a scholarship which is basically covering all the money which is required. For example, if you go 1 year in Germany, you have to show you have practically 12,000 euros. And in this case, you need a scholarship which is covering basically 12,000 euros. If it's not the case, if you have a scholarship which is covering partially this money, you will have to complete with another justificative. For example, if you have to show 12,000 of euros and you only have a scholarship of 10,000, then you still have 2,000 of euros to justify, and you have to use alternative ways. So this is the first option. The second alternative is to show a guarantor, a sponsor, or basically any person in your family who can say they will act as a guarantor and provide you the money you need. But very important, guys, is that this guarantor most of the time should be someone who lives in Germany. Okay? For many countries like France, like Spain, like Spain, you can just have a guarantor which is living in your home country. But for Germany, it's very strict. So if you want to provide a guarantor to justify resources, it has to be someone who is living in Germany. Obviously, you have some exceptions, but you have to ask for the consulates. You have to verify because it's gonna depend where you come from, where you're going to get, who is the person who's gonna be your guarantor. So I'm not gonna detail everything, but basically, in most of the cases, you will have to, if you want to a sponsor, it has to be someone who lives in Germany. That's the rule in practicing nearly all of the cases. And usually the third alternative, which is the one used by most of the students because that's the most simple and the most accessible, is to use a blocked account. In German, you call it a Sperrkonto. And basically it works the following way. It's basically what I provide with Studely. And the idea is that you're gonna open a bank account in Germany. That's what I am doing. I open for you a bank account in Germany. The required money by the consulate, you send it to this account, and when we receive the funds, when we receive the money, we give you a certificate to present to the consulates. And this is basically something the consulate will examine and validate de manera in an automatic way, because you have to pass by a certificated provider of blocked account, and today Studely is validated by the German consulate for this process. It is called a blocked account, guys, because basically the money you're gonna send is blocked. It's like blocked, it's like freezed in the account until you get in Germany. Okay, that's also why you have to open this bank account, this blocked account, before you go to Germany. And the money then get disblocked. It get accessible a little bit every month. It's like a salary. So every month you will get, it will get disblocked, more or less 1,000 euros you can use directly with the account. It's very important for the consulates because not only it gives them the proof that the money is in Germany, but also that the money is blocked. So it means like the money is not gonna disappear, you're not gonna waste everything during the first week in parties. So it's very important for the German government to know, like during all the year you have this kind of financial stability and security. That's why in most of the case you have to provide this famous Sperrkonto, this famous blocked account. So yes, the advantage of opening a blocked account is that in most of the case it is something which is required, obviously. With Studely, the thing is that we have the approbation, we have like all the level of security which is required for this kind of process. We have the certification ACPR Banque de France, which gives us the authorization to operate in all Europe, in Germany, but also in France, in many countries for students who go to other countries than Germany's. And another important point is that this blocked account also works like a normal account, like a Revolut or N26 account. So basically you can also receive and do international and domestic transfer in all the world, and this without any commission. So it's very useful not only to validate your inscription, your admission in Germany, but also just to live your day by day in Germany. And also the thing is that when you send the money in this blocked account, it is converted in euros, which means that if there's a fluctuation of the money of Brazil, you will get the protection because your money is converted in euros, which does not basically get any fluctuation normally. And the cost of the blocked account, with Studely, it is 152 euros. It's something you pay once, then you don't have any commissions on the transfer, you don't have to pay any fees, non-sure. Something you pay just one time, and then you are completely free to use it for 1 year without paying anything else. So it's basically very accessible. And to open it is very simple also. That's an important point, is that all you have to do, guys, is to download the application of Studely, to fill out a form to say, okay, I'm going to Germany, I'm going for 1 year, and the application will give you the information to do the transfer and to open the bank account, the blocked account in Germany. And normally in a few days after that you made the transfer, we need a few days to get the money and to give you the certificate. So basically in 1 week you can start the process and get your certificate to present to the German government. And a very important point is that if you're already studying in Brazil and you're part of this of an exchange program, I have partnership with some universities, with some agents, so you can ask them if you have the partnership to get better prices with the blocked account. Packing your suitcase. Okay, so we're getting close to the second part of what you have to do in Germany. A last part before, it's what you have to anticipate, what you have to bring to Germany. Obviously, what I recommend always is to have all your documents, which means your passport, which means basically your school certificates, your admissions, everything you have to bring it in version physical and digital. It's very important. Also, I know, well, I live in Mexico and I know in Brazil you also have a very good weather, but in Alemania and Germany it's very cold, it's very rainy. So take the clothes in consequences. Another point, and that's something I like to say because I always forget it, it's to take adapters in power bank, because the electricity is not the same in Europe and it's not harmonized from one country to the other. So if you go to Germany, you have one system. If you go to UK, you have another one. So the best thing is to have an adapter universal, to be able to have access to the electricity and to charge your device in any country of Europe, especially if you plan to travel. Of course, medications and prescriptions, you have to get it and you have to translate it in German if you need something very important. Vaccination card, and also another very important point is to get to verify that your phone is unlocked for Europe, because sometimes you're gonna buy a phone in whatever, it can be an Apple, it can be a Samsung, it can be something else, but you buy it in Brazil and you have some restriction that makes it it's not adapted for the chip you have in Europe. So you have to verify that your cell phone is can accept international SIM. And of course, you can bring some gifts, something very local for your friends you're gonna make in Europe. Okay, so we're getting to the second part, what you have to do in Germany, and we're getting with this part with the most technical, with the most important part, because that's where all your processes, all the bureaucracy will start. Before getting to this part, which is gonna be a little bit longer, maybe you have some questions, so you can open the microphone, ask me your questions directly. I also put you a link of my WhatsApp if you have questions that comes afterward. But if guys, you want to ask a question right now regarding what you have to do before getting to Germany, this is the moment. You can take the microphone, and with pleasure I can respond to this in live. Don't be shy, guys. I know you have lots of questions and it's always difficult to be the first one to do the first question.
I have a question
Yes.
about. Can you hear me properly?
Yes.
Okay, great. My question is basically about the first option that you showed about the
Scholarship.
rules to what?
The first option, it's about the scholarship you are referring to.
Yeah, the scholarship. Yeah,
Yes.
I wanted to know if I have, for example, my own salary and I can uh, show the university that I will have it, does it count also, or is it only scholarship provided by organizations or stuff like that?
So you mean a salary you have in Germany? So you will have in Germany or a salary you have in Brazil?
In Brazil, let me say that I have a internship in a
Okay.
Brazilian company, and it's a remote work. So in theory, I can work in German in a Brazilian company.
Okay.
So I wanted to know basically this: if my own salary here can count for this
No,
to, maybe
no,
reduce or something.
no. Sorry, Rafael. It doesn't work. It's not accepted. It's not accepted because once you get in Germany, you will not count with the salary. So what interests the government is not what you have before going; it's what you will have once you get there. So basically the salary you have in Brazil or even the salary you have in Germany, it cannot be accepted. It cannot be accepted.
Understand. So in practice, I have to save the money, in this case, to using Sperrkonto, right?
Exactly. All the
If I
other,
don't have if, if I don't have any scholarship provided by any organization or something like that.
yes, but also you can have a scholarship. You can have a small scholarship in complement. For example, how long will you go to Germany, Rafael?
It would be from April to September, in the next year, 2027. And right now I'm saving money basically to
Okay.
the Sperrkonto.
See.
But I'm also looking for some scholarships out there. There's a lot of organizations in Brazil that provide this kind of stuff. To be to be sure, I don't know exactly what organization is that, but I'm looking for, But my main plan right now, like my plan A, is basically save money and yeah, it's back on.
Yes. What is that you can get a scholarship, and even if the scholarship doesn't cover everything, it can cover part of what you have to justify. For example, you're gonna go for one semester, more or less, so it's gonna be 6 months. Let's put it like this to make it simple. You're gonna go 6 months, so you have to show you have available 6,000. But if you have a scholarship which gives you 2,000, it means that then you have like 6 less 2, you have 4,000 left to justify. So you can provide the scholarship which shows, okay, I have like 2,000 already disponible, available with the scholarship. Then you have to justify the 4,000 others with a Sperrkonto. So you can provide both. It can be complementary. You have to be
Oh,
careful.
you mean like a scholarship and my own money. You're saying
Yes,
that?
yes, it can be
Oh,
complementary. You can have the scholarship who show you will have part of the money, and what you have to justify left, it has to be with the Sperrkonto. But if you have to show the availability of 6,000 and you already have 2,000 of scholarship, then you just have to put 4,000 in the Sperrkonto.
oh, great, great. Just another question, Théo.
See,
Will you provide in this masterclass um, any knowledge about scholarships that you have the knowledge, or
yes,
I don't know, like
so you can,
it's what I'm looking for, but I don't know exactly if you know already about something
yes,
out there in
you have
Brazil.
you have one way to find it, and you can see I'm writing to you right now. Scholarship, you go on this page. It's scholarship of the DAD. The DAD is like the part of the German embassy which is dealing with this theme. of all the international mobility. So you can find in one page an overview of what is disponible. So guys, I recommend you to go on that scholarship and to find if there's something you can apply for. The good thing, Raphael, is that you're going in like 8 months, something like that. So you have more than the time to apply, to send what you have to send to apply. If you have, if there's a contest, you can pass the contest, so you have the time to deal with it. Okay.
Okay, great. Can I take another question?
Yes,
Quickly?
of course, with pleasure.
Okay, it's about the Sperrkonto specifically.
Yes.
Like, I understood that we have to save approximately 6,000 euros, right? For 6 months in this case.
Have to provide, I put it there. That is what you have to provide. It is, yes, practically meal. So it's 1,000 euro for each month you will stay in Germany. So this amount you have to multiply. You have to multiply it by the number of months you will stay in Germany.
Yeah, great. And my question, my doubt is basically, I know that we have this blocked account, right? That we're gonna put this money.
Yes.
But in the case that let me say, we don't use all of this money in the whole exchange program, can we take this money back later, or will it be blocked forever?
I'm not gonna steal it. I know French people, we have bad reputation, but no, we're not gonna steal it. The thing is that the money which is left. So for example, you have, so this is what you have to provide every month, and this is what will get available every month. If you have like some money left at the end of the month, then it accumulates. You have like this money which get disblocked the next month, and what is left, it is still accessible. And when you get at the end of your semester, of your year in Germany, the money which is left in the account, of course, you can withdraw it. You can withdraw it in like in a bank. You can just transfer it to another account. This is your money. Me, the only things Studely is charging. This is 152 euros. That's the only thing we charge. Then all the money you put, it's your money, and then you manage as you want.
Okay, great, thanks. I guess that's it, Théo, for now.
Okay.
Basically, all of my questions.
It's okay. Is there any last question before we keep going with the process in Germany?
I have a question.
Yes, Anna, tell me.
Is it Theo or Théo?
It's Théo. It's Théo. I'm glad for once I'm not the one which is mispronouncing the names. No, it's Théo.
Okay. I'm planning one semester exchange as well.
Okay.
Like Rafael. And I would like to clarify a bit about if I'm legally allowed to continue to work remotely for my current employer during my stay in Germany. Is that allowed, or how?
Okay, that's a good question, because you are working in Brazil right now.
Yeah.
Okay, it gonna depends on where you go. It gonna depends on where you go in Germany, because
On the university itself?
It's gonna depends more in which city you're gonna go, because each city has what they call an Anmeldung. I'm pretty sure, I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's basically like the local office for internationals, in which you have to apply. I will get to it in a moment. And you have some limitations about work, especially because you come from Brazil and you come without a visa. But the condition is that to come in Brazil to study without a visa, you're not supposed to work, which means like to work in Brazil, you have to work in Germany, so you have lots of conditions, and it will really depend of the cases. So what you can do is that you can check directly where, depending on where you go, what will be the limitation, and if you don't find the information, you can also scan the QR to get my my WhatsApp, and later you send me a message and I can do the investigation for you.
Okay, thanks. That makes sense.
De nada.
Contact you
Yes.
later.
Okay, I know there will be more questions, but we're gonna keep going. And because we're getting to the important part, guys. So if you have to pay attention, that's the moment, because we're getting to the tough part. So really quick, when you get to Germany, some things to take into account. You have the free Wi-Fi in the airport, so it's very useful. But still, what I recommend is always to have a paper version, a non-online version of all the information you need, which means the number, the cell phone number of your school, the cell phone number of the Airbnb you will go to, the directions, basically all the information is important. You don't want to be dependent on the internet. So it's very important to have it in a physical version. Also, in most of the European airports, you have specific prices for the transports. If you take the public transports, take this into account, because they're gonna be very expensive. And the other option, of course, is to take a taxi. I know what I will tell you, it sounds obvious, but I prefer to state it anyway, is that you have to take official taxis, because you have lots of, como se dice, estafas, you have lots of fake taxis, so you have to pay attention to it. You can use Uber, Bolt, or Hitch, which are the three main taxi provider in Europe. And I will give you a recommendation, which is universal. It's better to take a taxi from an application than a taxi which is like a physical taxi, because obviously I have this experience of being a stranger in a country, and the taxi will see you don't speak the language, you're not from there, so they're gonna take a lot of money. It's better to take like a VTC, to take a taxi from an application to get a better price and to avoid the problems of being like a stranger in a new country. And a very important point, guys, is also if you have cash to change, it's better to change the cash in the city and not directly in the airport, because the change rate in airports is very bad. It's very bad. When I came to Mexico from France, I changed all my euros to pesos, and I lost like the equivalent on 100, 200 euros, because like the rates are very, very, very bad. So it's better to wait to get in the city and to do the change at this moment. Okay, so we're getting to the tough part. You will have some missions to do in Germany, and I rated it by priority. The first priority you have is to find and register in an accommodation. Because you will need later in your process a house certificate, which is called a Wohnungsbericht. I cannot say it, obviously, and I'm probably sure all of you will have trouble to pronunciate it. But basically, it's a certificate that says you have like a house, department in Germany. And be very careful, because in most of the case, a hotel or Airbnb or something which is temporal is not working. Sometimes Airbnb can work, but you have to see with the owner of the Airbnb if he can provide this, and most of the time they will refuse. So most of the time you will get to Germany, you have to find like a definitive accommodation, which is not something like a hotel or Airbnb. You have 2 weeks, so you have to be very fast. You have 2 weeks to register your address at the local office, which is called Bürgermacht. I think I pronounce it, yeah, I pronounce it good. And you basically, what is important is that at the end of the day you have this Melbenstang. It's basically the official certificate that you have a house, a definitive house, definitive department in Germany. This Meldebestangung, it's something you will need at some point in the next steps of your process, so it's your priority number one. before going to the other missions you have to do, I give you some advices to find an accommodation in Germany, because I know from distance something complicated to find an accommodation in Germany from Brazil. So, but you can find it very easily when you get in Germany. You basically have four options principals, which are the first one is to find a student residence. It's very good because you can find it very very affordable options. It's very easy to have access to residents because they know you are strangers, so they won't ask you lots of documentation, lots of certification. You can get the contract very easily. But the thing is that it's very cheap, it's very easy, so it's very popular. So it means you'll have also a few spots disponible, available. So my recommendation is, once you get your admission letter for Germany, if you want to stay in a residence, you have to start the process ASAP to have the opportunity to get a spot before it's too late. And I put you every time some web pages which are very reliable, so you can find departments for each category. So the first category is residence, then you have share places, so you can basically stay with a host, you can share an apartment with roommates. It's another option which is basically very cheap and very adapted for students, because for those who are gonna stay one semester, it's very easy to find. But you have to be very careful, because sometimes they're gonna propose you to do a sub-renting, a sublease contract, which means that the contract is not really at your name. It means like the contract is at the name of one of your roomie, and then you contract with the roomie. So it's like one intermediary, and it's not good, because you need really to have like as I said, you have to provide at some point a certificate of housing at your name, and it's very important. And if you don't have it, it's gonna be a nightmare for the rest of your process. So take this into account, and I also put like some links you can use to find departments. And then the other options, it's like the most common, I would say, is to find an accommodation from a particular. It can be via an agency or via individuals. The good thing is that if you pass with an agent, it's gonna be more easy to find, but it's gonna be a little bit more expensive, and they're gonna ask a lot of documentation. And if you find a private department with an individual, with a private directly with the owner of the department, usually you have less process, but also you have more scams. So it's a balance. You have to see what you prefer. If you're really sure of yourself, if you already know people in Germany, if you speak a little bit of German, it's easier to deal directly with the owner, so you don't have to pay a fee to an agent. But if you come to Germany like a tourist, like I did when I came to Mexico a few years ago, it's better to pay a little bit more and to have a person that's gonna support you in all the process, right? And the 3 commandments of renting, I'm gonna state the obvious, but it's always good to remind this, is that first of all, you never pay without having a contract signed, obviously. And even before signing the contract, that's the second rule, you have to visit a department. If you want to rent a department at distance from Brazil in Germany, you can do it, but you need someone to visit for you, to verify the place is real, to verify it's not like a weird smell, something which is not working in the apartment, you have the electricity, because you have lots, and every year I do the same sessions of information, and I state the same information, but every year I still have students who fall for scams. And sometimes it's very elaborate. So you think, yes, I know how it works, but it's so elaborated that you can fall for it. So trust me, be very careful. And of course, you never have a bargain. So if it seems too good, too affordable to be true, that's a scam. It's a universal rule, and it's real for every country in the world. Settling in your home, I will go very quickly in this part. Don't forget to do the inventory when you get to the department. The Germans, you have to take into account, the Germans are people which are very serious. Everything has to be very rigorous, lots of process. So when you get to the apartment, you have to do an inventory very detailed, which means you say, okay, you have like 3 seats, you have 1 table, you have 4 knives, you have 3 forks. You have to detail everything. You have to go deep into detail, because once you leave of your department, if you didn't do the inventory correctly, they can keep the deposit for themselves. So you have to be very to pay lots of attention to this, to get into detail, and to film the inventory, you and the owner. It's very important. And also, well, verify that you have like already access to electricity, water, internet, because in some cases you will have to subscribe yourself to electricity, to water, to internet to activate it. So you have to take this into account. And as you will come as students, as strangers, maybe you won't have a perfect German. It's better to get in the department which already have all the services activated. So it was the first priority, is to get a department. It's very important. The second one is to subscribe to an insurance. And a quick reminder, guys, is that all that I am listing right now, you don't have to wait to be in Germany to do it. You have to be in Brazil, and before leaving to Brazil, you have to anticipate all of this, because if you wait the last minute, it's gonna be a nightmare. So the second priority, and you have once again to do it from Brazil, is to subscribe to an insurance. It will be required to have a health insurance in Germany if you want to validate your inscription in your university. And it is an insurance which has to cover all your stay in Germany. So basically, the day you arrive in Germany till the day you leave, you have to get insurance which is covering everything. And the trip insurance is not enough. You really need like a real health insurance. And the good news is that Studely not only can provide the Sperrkonto, the blocked account, but also we can provide the health insurance, which is recognized by the authorities, which means that with the certificate we're gonna give you, you can move forward in the rest of your processes. So to recapitulate, 1, accommodation, 2, insurance, and the third thing is to finalize finally your inscription with your university. And most of university, they will ask you to do some processes before going to Germany to validate the registration. But once you get in Germany, you also have, in most of the case, to validate the registrations, and to do that, you have to be in Germany. So it's in 2 steps. And as I said before, for those who just arrived, once you get your admission letter for Germany, your priority is also to check with the German university what will be the process, because each university has its requirements, its processes, its schedule. So you have to see exactly what you will have to do, what you will have to fill, what you will have to send, and when you will have to do all of this. And last but not least, we're getting to the most important part, and I swear later it's gonna be the masterclass will be more interesting. This was like the very boring and administrative part, but then last but not least, you have to get your residence title. It's what I said at the beginning, is that you don't need a visa as Brazilians, and this is good, but you will need to do all this process I just detailed to be able to study in Germany. And so the theme of the insurance, of the school inscription, and of the renting of department, it brings you to this last step, which is to get your residence title. And basically you have 3 months, which is basically very long but also very short, to gather all these documents and to finally finalize your residence in Germany. So you'll have to prove to show a proof of financial resources, which will be probably a cuenta bloqueada, a blocked account with Studely. You will need your health insurance, Studely also can provide it, your proof of residence, and your proof of school inscriptions. Obviously, you will have to show other documents. Sometimes they're gonna ask you for your passport, letter of admissions, additional documents, and it will depend on the cities you do the process with. you will do the process with the Ausländer Behörde, which is basically the place in which you will do all these final registrations. And depending on the city you live in, you will have to provide different documents. The 4 documents I show you in this slide, it is in common for every cities in Germany, and then each city will gonna ask you some specific documents, so you have to check personally what will be the other things you have to provide, right? Last tips. I know it was the boring part, it's very administrative, but I swear then we're going to the cultural part. I will have a special guest who we're gonna talk about the experience in Germany, so it's gonna be a little bit less boring, right? Banking solutions and IBAN. So a very important point is that I know lots of students who travel, for example, for 1 semester, they think it's sufficient to have a Brazilian bank account with the international option to be able to pay in restaurants, in bars, etc., to pay the food. But trust me, guys, if you just rely on an international account from Brazil, in Germany at some point you're gonna get some problems, because at some points you will need local bank account, especially to receive some payments like a scholarship, for example, or to receive like the reimbursement of the social security, of the insurance. And you also will need this German bank account to pay things like the rent, like the electricity, the water, the gas, the internet, the insurance, even the tuition fees. I will say sometimes you will need to get a local bank account. So guys, anticipate this, because I know lots of students who go to Germany, who go to Europe, and they have an international bank account from Latin America, and they end very blocked in lots of their process. So anticipate this. The good thing is that the blocked account of Studely also provides an IBAN, which allow you to pay your rent, to pay your electricity, to pay your Netflix also. Basically everything you will need in Germany, you can pay it with this bank account. And the IBAN makes it very easy. You can pay it in a few minutes, while if you use an international bank account, you have to wait days, sometimes weeks, and sometimes you are not able to do it. So just take this into account, it's very important. Phone and internet. For those who are gonna stay 1 year or more, you have special packages for your cellular, for your internet, which are subscriptions of 1 year, and it's very cheap. You will see the internet and the cellular subscription is very cheap in Europe in comparison of America Latina. So that's a very good point. If you can do it for 1 year, because it's gonna be very cheap. If you just stay 1 semester, it's okay. You can just subscribe a package which is monthly. It's gonna be a little bit more expensive, but still it's very affordable in comparison to America Latina. And I put you 2 páginas web, two web pages, which are Check24 y Verivox, which are 2 comparators to help you in your decision. Okay, that was the boring part. So it was basically all the administrative things you have to do. We are getting now to the part of the cultural integration. I have like a guest I would call right now, which is a Mexican student, a good friend of mine who studied in Germany. We're gonna share a little bit together the thing you have to know when you get in Germany from a cultural perspective. But before going to this part, maybe you have some questions. Once again, I give you the QR code to download the application Studely and to get your blocked account. You have here my WhatsApp link to ask me questions. And if you want, guys, you can open the microphone and ask me your questions right now. I will take a few questions before going to the last part, which will be a little bit shorter.
I have a very simple question, actually.
Yes.
Which bank do international students usually use for daily expenses?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Which bank
Yes.
do international students usually use?
So it's normally when you get to when you have a blocked account, you don't really need another bank, because like the blocked account works as a bank, right?
Mm,
It works as a bank because, well, it depends on the provider, but with Studely we provide an IBAN, which is like the bank number, the bank reference for Germany, which allows you to do all your processes. So basically, you get in Germany with Studely, with the blocked account, you don't really need another bank account. But to be completely fair with you, I always recommend to open another bank account, just in case. Maybe you're gonna lose your card, so you will need like a plan B for 1 week. So it's good to have another bank. And I can send, if you send me WhatsApp, I can give you some recommendations. I don't have any partnership with any bank, so it's gonna be just feedbacks I have
okay.
from other students. But I don't want to be held accountable for these recommendations, right?
Okay, that's it.
Yes, con gusto, Anna. Do we have more questions?
I have a question. I wanted to know if the part that you mentioned about the insurance,
Yes.
Is it like mandatory?
Yes.
Is it like required to go to Germany before? Oh, okay, it's mandatory. I got it.
So to be very precise, to go to Germany, you will be required 2 types of insurances. Because you will need the health insurance, and that is the most important. And Studely can provide you the health insurance, which is gonna cover you during all your stay. But to activate the health insurance, you will need to get in Germany, which means, like, for example, you will get in Germany and you will need 1 week, to do the process to activate the insurance. Which means before going to Germany, you have to it's better to have a travel insurance, which cover you, for 1 month. So it gives you the time to get in Germany and to activate the health insurance, which is a real deal. I don't know if it makes sense.
No, it makes sense. Okay, I got it.
So it's very important.
Another question that I
Yes.
have. Yeah. Oh no. You were about to say something, or?
No. It was just to confirm that yes, you can get travel insurance before going, but anyway, the health insurance, like the definitive health insurance, it is good to get it ready from Brazil. So you're gonna activate it when you get in Germany, but you can make all the process from Brazil. So the week you get in Germany, you activate it, and it's very fast.
Okay, great. Makes sense. The other question that I have is about the part you said about the comprovant of the place we're going to stay in German.
Yes.
Just to understand the process, first of all, we have to find place, right? And then we send the documents about this place we found to stay, whether it's a residence in the university or a place that I found by my own to stay. And like the first thing to do is to find some place, basically, right?
Yes. Thanks for the question. It's very important. When you get to Germany, you can get to Germany with an Airbnb, with an hotel, with something which is not definitive. But at one point, you will need, for the confirmation of your registration, definitive accommodation. So as you say, it can be a residence, it can be a place you find by your own, but basically it has to be a definitive place for which the owner will give you certificate. The certificate, so it has a very long name. I'm not gonna pronounce it, but I'm gonna show it. So that's the house certificate. That's the name you have to ask when you get in Germany. Most of the time, if you pass through an Airbnb, they will not give you this type of certificate. You have to pass from a place that you're gonna rate for 3, 4, 5, 12 months. So basically it's what is considered as a definitive accommodation. That's something you will need in the rest of your process. But you can really get to Germany with an Airbnb, and then once you're in Germany, you can just you're on the ground, you know, so it's easier to find a real department once you're physically present to do the visits, for example.
Great. I got it. Just the last question. It's more a recommendation. I want to hear from you.
Yes.
Do you recommend any or going to have everything done? Like all of this stuff we're talking show right now. Set up and collect it and improve it. Like let's say I'm about to travel in April 2027. In which part before do you recommend? How much time before do you recommend we need to improve this stuff and have everything setting?
Okay, so the connection is a little bit bad, but I think I understood your questions. So basically, what I recommend, honestly, guys, I will give the same answer to every student, whatever, if they go to Germany, to France, or to any country, is that the day in which you get your admission letter, you have to anticipate, you have to start to gather the documents. Yes, the network is a little bit slow, don't worry, Raphael. No, the best advice I can give you is that once you get your admission letter, is to start to anticipate everything, to get all the information, to gather all the documents, because you will have to do it at some point. And if you do it with anticipation, you will also avoid to lose money, because the more early you do it, the more early you can take your plane ticket. Normally, what is recommended is to get in Germany 2 weeks before the start of your classes. You can get a little bit earlier if you want to take time to find an accommodation, but I think 2 weeks it's a good delay. It's a good time, so you have 2 weeks to get in Germany, to settle, to start to find an accommodation. So when the class started, you already have time to move forward with your processes, with your accommodation, with all the things we have seen together. I have a question from Nicole. Nicole, if you can open the mic. The floor is
Hi.
yours.
Hello. My question is that I already received the admission letter, but it's not definitely yet.
Okay.
So it's not the time to read my documents and start the process, right?
Because you're Brazilian, também. You're from Brazil?
Yes, I'm from Brazil.
Okay. All the Brazilian students, you can go to Germany without any visa. You can just go like this. Magic. But the documents you will have to provide it once in Germany. Okay, and this famous inscription letter, this definitive admission, it's better to have it before you go to Germany, but sometimes it will depend on the university. Sometimes you go to Germany without the definitive admission, it's okay. But what you have to do right now is to get in contact with the German university and to know when you will get this definitive admission. And if they cannot provide you, because sometimes they will say you have to be in Germany to confirm this definitive admission, it's okay, it's normal. But in this case, you have to see very precisely with them when you can get the definitive admission and what you have to do to do it, and if it will imply other processes once you get in Germany. In most of the cases, I say it because in most of the cases you get the definitive admission from Brazil before getting to Germany. In your case, if you have to go in Germany and before this definitive admission, you have to check very carefully with the uni the schedule and what they recommend you to do in this situation.
Okay, thanks. I understood.
See. Okay, do we have, I think there's Anna who have more questions. I don't know if you could ask it.
I have one last question.
Yes,
Sorry to
don't
backtrack for a
hesitate.
second,
Don't
but
hesitate.
going back to
That's
the
the goal
bank
of
question.
this masterclass. It's already not implementing your question, guys.
Okay, like about the bank question. If my family maybe wants to send me some extra money
Yes.
from Brazil during the semester,
Yes.
how does that work? Like, since the Sperrkonto is blocked, I assume they can't transfer the money directly to it. But do international students usually open a regular current account like in digital banks alongside Sperrkonto?
Thank you for this question, Anna. It's one of my favorite questions because you have like some providers of banked account, of blocked account, but Studely we have this very specific thing that you have. So you have to differentiate two things. The first thing is that you have the blocked money, which is 1,000 euro for every month, and this is something you need in your processes. But as you said, sometimes you will need more money. For example, when you want to settle, when you want to get in Germany, well, you have to pay your rent, a little bit of food, you have to pay the deposits for your department. So 1,000 is not enough. And justamente, precisely for this, the blocked account of Studely allows you to send more money. And basically, the additional money you will send, it will not be blocked, and we won't charge anything. It works like a classic a classic bank account. And the good thing is that the difference with a classic bank account in Germany is that we don't charge anything. So you can send basically all the money you want to finance your stay, and we won't charge anything on the extra money you will send. So it really works like a real bank account you could have with Revolut, or you can have with a local bank in Germany.
Okay. I was thinking about it because it depends on the city, actually. We have like this number, like 100 euros, but in some cities it's like cheaper, or it depends. But yeah, I got it.
Where are you going to be, Anna?
I'm going to be in Frankfurt.
Okay. So in a few minutes, I will welcome a former student of Germany, which is basically called Annabelle, which is in Munich. 1,000. It's a good budget. It's more or less adapted. It depends how much you like to go in parties. But basically it's like quite adapted. But obviously if you go to a big cities like Frankfurt, like Munich, like Berlin, especially when you get the first month, you will have a lots of things to pay, like the apartment, like the apartment deposits, like the insurances. So of course 1,000, it's a good average for every month, but for the installation you have maybe to anticipate 2,000 to be like really comfortable.
Okay. Thanks.
Ginada. Okay. Do we have another question? Don't be shy.
I have a little doubt.
Yes.
I don't know if my network is low yet,
I
but
can hear you.
I'll try to. Oh, great! But I'll try to speak slow, so
no, it's
yeah,
okay.
It will
We
work.
can hear you perfectly.
Okay. My question is about, I did some research before this masterclass, and I discovered that there is a specific ticket for students in which you pay once, and you can use public transportation in Germany. Do you know something about that? How it exactly works? If it have to be included in a Sperrkonto or no? Basically this.
So when you will pay your university, in most of the cases, the thing is that it's very difficult for me to give you like a general rule, because every university Anna was about to ask this question, is that every university and every city has its rule, and the public transport, it depends also on the cities you're gonna, because it's managed by the local city. But most of the time, you have to confirm it with your university, of course, but most of the time the public transports, it is included in the fee you're gonna pay to the university, which means you're gonna pay the university and you will get like a transport certificate, something like this, which give you access to the metro, to the buses, to every like public transports which are available in the city. So it's included in the price you will have to pay with the uni. And Anna, which is asking how far can I actually travel with the transport access. Usually the thing you're gonna pay with the university gives you access to the local transports. So you go to study, for example, in your case, Anna, to Frankfurt, where you have access to all the public transport of Frankfurt. But if you want to travel to Berlin or to Munich, you will have to pay a train, which is like something national, not local, and in this case, you will have to pay. In some cases, you have access to discounts, but once again, you have to verify because each city has its proper sets of rules. Please, Anna, go. I know you have lots of questions. I like it. I like it.
Okay, I was thinking about what you said about parties, and
yes, yes. Finally, we're getting to the interesting part.
I was wondering, like, are there active student like organizations that organize social events?
Yes.
And cheap trips, please, for exchange students.
Yes. So we're gonna talk a little bit with this with Annabelle. The thing is that the German universities, it's a system which is very specific. For example, in France, you have lots of students associations, and to be completely honest with you guys, these associations, it's to go out, to party, to get drunk, it's to make friends. It's also to practice some sports, but it's very like to have fun. In Germany, most of the times in the universities, you have associations, but this is more associations that will give you tips to integrate in the university. So, you know, for example, you are in the history, you have a master of history, you have the association of the school of the university, which allows you to present you to all the students, to all the promotion, which is with studying the same thing. So it's more like, let's put it like this, is that the associations in Germany, it's more, in the university, it's more like institutional. It's more like to understand how works the universities, how to integrate with the other students. But of course, they're gonna organize fiestas, parties, events. Sometimes it's like clubs, you know, for sports. It's club like because you have like something of interest in common, but it's gonna be more like something very related, very representative of the university. So if your point is to go out, is to make friends, you can go. I think it's better to go in external associations like Erasmus, like local city associations. In most of the big cities like Munich, Berlin, etc., you have students international associations, you have ISEC, you have Erasmus. And I think if you want parties, it's better to go there because the student universities, in the student associations in universities, it's more like institutional, let's put it like this. But it's a good way to start to meet people that later can present you to where the fun is happening.
Yeah, I was thinking about Erasmus. I was searching, and then
Yes.
but you, I got it. I was searching about it later.
Yes, and what you can do also is that, in which university are you going, Anna?
It is, I'm definitely gonna say the name wrong, but it's Goth University.
So what you can do is that you can check like each university normally it has like a student association, and it has a page in Facebook and Instagram, something sometimes just a correo, an email. What I recommend you is that to send them a message and to ask what you are seeking, and they're gonna
Okay.
redirect you to the good people, right?
Okay.
Okay. Do we have a last? I'm gonna take a last question before getting to the cultural part, which gonna be like 15-20 minutes large. If you have a last question, guys, that's the moment. And if you cannot open the mic, or if you want to ask a question later, I show you last time the código, the QR code, so you can get in contact with me, get in touch a little bit later.
I have another question.
What are you
It is about a lot of things, a lot of process to get into German needs documents to have been translated. So do you have to know like a certified translator that does this?
So yes, very good question, and I didn't talk about it. Yes, for the documents you need to be translated. You can do it from Brazil, but it has to be a Brazilian company which has the authorizations of the German government. So when you go to, if you go to a Brazilian company, you have to check if they have like the authorizations, if they have like the certificate to be like accepted in your process. And if you go to Germany, the same thing is that you have to verify like if you go to with an independent, it's pretty sure it's not gonna be accepted. So always ask before doing the traduction if it's gonna be accepted with you for your process.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yes, I think Rafael, you had the last question. I know you have lots of questions.
Yeah, like I was about to make a question and Nicole made hers, but it's okay. It was a good question also. The stuff that I want to ask is about travel to another countries when we're in the exchange program in Germany, because I'm about to travel to Bremen, which is located in the north of Germany, and it's very near to the Amsterdam, right? And
Yes.
I have the feeling to go there and meet Amsterdam. So I want to know if there is any problem with the documents or stuff like that when you're there and want to take a train, for example, and visit another country. I know that Europe is more like liberal and that, but I want to know in this case if there is any specific information that we have to know.
Rafael, definitely you're a party animal. And you have Anna in the chat who is saying who doesn't want to go to Amsterdam. So I think you should connect and plan a trip together, because we have a good team of party animal. To respond to you, the good news is that if you have a visa for any countries in Europe, you have the possibility to travel in Europe freely, because the visa in Germany, then it allows you to go in France, it allows you to go, well, Amsterdam is good, but if you go to Paris, it's gonna be another level, trust me. And I'm not saying this because I'm French, right? But yes, you can travel, always verify, because sometimes when you change country, you have like to do some declaration online, like to fill a form online, but normally it's very, as you say, it's very liberal, because you are part of the Espace Schengen, like the Schengen area, and it's basically it allows you to travel within all the European the countries of European Union without having to do any visa. And I see Nicole also wants to go. Okay, this is the masterclass for the process, but it's also the masterclass for the fiestas, for the parties. That's the spirit. It's very good. So guys, I will put you in touch later. You can send me a message so you can organize a trip, and por favor, please send me the pictures of your trip in Amsterdam. I have been various I have been como 3 or 4 times in Amsterdam. It's very funny. It's very funny. It's very cool. We will get to the last part. I will take, if you have more questions, I will take more questions afterward. But we will get to the last part with the cultural part with my special guest, which is Annabelle. Can you hear me, Annabelle?
I can hear you. How are you?
Oi, oi, como está você?
Tudo bem? É
Tudo
você?
bem? Sim, muito bem. Obrigado, obrigado. Muito prazer.
Com licença, estamos aprendendo português
Sim,
e às vezes
es
praticamos.
es que nós moramos na México, por isso possamos falar um pouquinho de português, pues mais portunhol que português do Brasil, mas pues podemos falar um pouquinho. But for this exercise, we're gonna do it in English because, like, do it full in Portuguese is gonna be very awkward, I think.
Yeah, sorry. I'm
Yes.
sorry if we butchered the language.
We
It happens when you're learning.
It's okay. It's okay. It's been 1 hour I talk with a Spanish accent, and I'm French, so it doesn't make any sense. It's okay. It's okay. So we're gonna move forward. Thank you, Annabelle, for being here with us. It's very important because you studied in Germany, so we're gonna talk a little bit about the cultural shock, because obviously, like, of course, there's lots of difference between Europe and
Latin America.
Latina, obviously, but also, like, Germany is very. I think Germany is like the all the difference you can have between America Latina and Europe is like the most difference you can find it in Germany. It's like everything is very extreme. Even for me, as a French people, I see German sometimes for me it's like we come from a different planet. But that's also the goal. It's like the importance of the exchange is to meet this difference and to meet different way of thinking. That's a very important way, no?
To be fair, I think that French people are closer to Latin Americans than Germans in that aspect, in the social aspect.
Yes. So I'm gonna put back the presentation. While I put the presentation, Annabelle, can you present a little bit what you do, what you did in Germany, where you come from, what you studied?
Well, I'm from Mexico. As you see, my name is Annabelle. I studied in Universidad Anáhuac, which is located in Querétaro, Mexico. It's like 2 hours away from Mexico City.
We are practically neighbors.
And practically. And I went for a semester to Munich. I studied in new business school. It was just a semester that from a bachelor's degree. I studied international relations, and the sad part about this is that I went there in the winter, and a bit of the it was from September throughout January, so I got the cold months. It was kind of tough, but it was super fun. So I really encourage you to go. Right now, I'm here in Mexico working for my family, and it's going very well. But I learned a lot from my experience doing this student exchange.
Yes, thank you. So yes, so it was I think it was your first time in Germany. We're gonna talk a little bit to start with. So I put lots of images, but we're gonna start if the presentations finally want to work. Yes,
I see the doner kebab in that image.
Yes, exactly.
Traditional German food, by the way.
Exactly. It's like el tacos al pastor, pero European version, right?
Sort of the same thing, even though it comes from Turkey. But I think Germans just embrace that tradition in general in Europe.
And justamente, there's the theme about the language barrier. When you came to Germany, what was your level of German?
I had a A1 in German because I studied for a semester.
Very low.
I mean, if you go to a cafeteria and you say "Eins Kaffee bitte," they will understand you. And to be fair, since I studied in EU Business School, which is basically all the classes are in English, and most of the students that you meet come from different backgrounds, not even sometimes from Europe, sometimes from Latin America, from Africa, from Asia, from different places.
Yes.
So we were always speaking in English. The friends we had were speaking in English, and the few Germans that were at school were speaking in English with us anyway. And to be fair, besides England, I think Germany is one of the best places to learn in English because they have a really good accent, really good pronunciation and grammar compared to the French, if I'm honest.
It's true. I cannot
But
deny.
that's just the way I see things. So you don't have to believe me.
It was critics, but I accept it is true.
I just have to speak with the truth. I saw a comment that I think it was Rafael who said that a French guy in Mexico talking to us about Germany, us Brazilians. So it is funny.
Yes.
It happens
The most
when you
ambitious
travel.
crossover.
Me neither. Ich spreche kein Deutsch. Well, at this point, I learned a little bit, but still it's kind of rusty. But well, anyway, all of this to say that when you go to Germany, most of the students, most of the people, even people who are older than you, speak to you in English. They will understand it perfectly. Sometimes, yeah, it might be difficult sometimes when you come across with some paperwork about your visa and accommodation and whatever, because we do have to have a visa. So we have to translate. That's the way it goes. But you have your phone, you have AI, so it's really easy. But in normal day-to-day life, you can do whatever you want in English.
And
You are
ChatGPT is
very
your
limited,
friend
not
for
limited.
for the processes, for the translation.
ChatGPT,
is your
and
friend.
also now with technology, you can even hear a German speaking to you in German, and it will translate immediately the conversation in your own language. So you don't have to
Yes.
worry about that.
That's true. That's true.
You just have to go for it. So when I was there, even though I didn't know much German, a little bit of saying "Hallo, wie geht es dir?" or "Auf Wiedersehen" goes a long way. They really appreciate that.
Yes, I think. What do you think? Because you know, French people, we have the reputation to be very like. The truth is that French people, we don't speak a lot of English, we don't speak a lot of Spanish, we don't obviously speak a lot of Portuguese.
Just
We
French.
speak French, exactly, and we speak it good, but it's everything we speak. We don't speak anything else. But if there's foreigner students who come to France and who start to speak French with a very bad accent, we are very happy. You know, you have a cliche who says like the French
Are
very
you
close.
really?
Most of the time. Some are assholes, but it's like universal. But most of the time, if you try to speak French, you will be very happy because we know it's complicated and it's part of the efforts of integration. So did you feel like when you get to Germany, you were speaking a little bit of German sometime, and did you feel like the people were open to even if you didn't have like a very good German, did you think that the people were very open to try to speak a little bit slower, to repeat if you make a mistake, to adapt to your level basically?
They were much more open to it than the French, I would have to admit.
It's true.
The Germans they welcome more someone who doesn't speak the language but tries to make an effort, and if they cannot make it, they immediately switch to English. They always hear your accent, so they will always know. It's not a bad thing because they help you grow a little bit and they can teach you many words. And if you try to make an effort, maybe they will correct you a little bit, but in a polite way. That's
They are more
different from the
polite
French,
than the
I will
French.
have to say.
Definitely. So the point is to say that even if you
You don't have to worry about that.
So yeah, so if you can give an advice, like even if you speak very bad, just speak, because that's a unique opportunity to improve your German, as they will not judge you, they will help you. So it's like a safe space in a way, no?
It is, and also maybe in your universities they can offer German courses if you're interested in learning the language, or some courses outside school, which also will make you have different connections and make more friends.
True. Okay. So the communication, the communication. I think it's a very important.
Prost.
thing. Yes. So
That's my favorite word in German.
Prost. What does it mean?
It means cheers.
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 Prost. Prost.
Prost.
Prost. But I pronounce it like a French, so I pronounce it badly, basically. Like
Prost.
exactly, Prost. I think an important thing to talk about is that the way to communicate in Germany. So to be honest, I'm not very familiar with the Brazilian culture. I will go to Brazil in a few weeks. But I know, like, and with Annabelle, we live in Mexico, so we have a more indirect way to communicate. In Mexico, for example, you invite your friends to go out in Mexico, and sometimes you will just say, maybe I will tell you, I will confirm you because you are tired, but you don't want to refuse in a very direct way. In Germany, the communication is very direct. It's very like straight to the point, straightforward, and sometimes it can be a little bit like you feel like if you're not used to this way to communicate, you can feel it's impolite or rude or very direct. But in the end, it's the way it is now. So Annabelle, how did you feel it when you live there?
Yes, I think for me it was a lot of pressure coming from my friends to commit to an event, to a party, or to a gathering or something. Sometimes I was not feeling like it, but as a Latino, I think it's very common for us to be always open to new things, even though we're not going to commit. But in general, for Europeans, that's like a slap in the face. So if you are saying that you're going to do something, do it. If you're going to commit, even if you don't really feel like it, do it. Because if you don't do it, if you're trying to make friends with the locals, they're gonna think that that's like an insult to them, because they're already taking time and space from their agendas to make some room for you. For us, we don't have that perspective, but it's just the way they are if you want to make local friends. So whenever you're feeling like you're not going to do something, just straight to the point, say, no, I don't feel like it because blah, 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 blah. It doesn't really matter if it's an important thing or not. They will understand it. And someone will go out to you and tell you, you want to go to this cafe? I don't, because I don't like the location, the people, whatever. And just straight to the point, you're going to be like, oh, okay, it's clear.
It's clear.
And that's the only way that they feel like they're being understood. So try to avoid to commit if you're not going to do it.
That I have a very funny anecdote. When I was in France, I was like in an international master, and so we had friends from India, from Mexico, from many countries, and I was in a party in my house with a German friend, and at some point I see the friends like just chilling, but like not talking to anyone. It's a little bit late, and I go to him and I say like everything is okay, and I was not expecting that because I was not very familiar with the German culture. He told me, you know what, bro? I'm very exhausted. I'm bored. This party is not that funny, so I'm just going back home and to sleep. But it's normal. When I received this information the first time, I was like, that's tough. That's like very straightforward. But in the end, after 1, 2, 3, 5 party with him, I understand it's the way it is. And as a French, and even more as a Latino, someone tells you, I'm bored with your party, you can feel it's like incorrect, while in Germany it's completely normal to be you go straight to the point. You don't put filter and it's okay, it's fine. I can see Raphael.
I stayed in Munich.
I can see Raphael, which is talking about the punctuality. We're getting to it. Gave me
Pünktlichkeit. That's a very interesting word in German, by the way. Do not ever be not punctual. You always have to be on time.
So shall we move to the next part?
We should.
I think we should. So the cultural shock in interactions. So we have 3 points in that the way like German people are colder, in a way like they're like more distant. It's like in America Latina, you meet someone, after 5 minutes of conversation, it's like you are bros in the real life. In Germany, you have to work a little
Work
more
your
to
way.
build the relation. What can you say about it, Annabelle? I think it was a shock for you when you got there, right?
Right, because to be fair, at the beginning, I'm not a very extrovert person. I'm a real introvert. So having an introvert in a city full of Germans, it's complicated to make friends.
See?
And to be honest, you know, you have a lot of groups in a city where there are a lot of universities. You have a lot of students, so you have to find your way in between the crowd to find your group. And the first time that I actually got together with the German was when I started talking to her in one of my classes that I had. She just asked me for something, then I tried to make conversation, and it was nice. And then at the end of the week, she asked me for my phone that day, I remember. And we tried to talk a little bit, but she wasn't really open about many things that particular day. As we were talking along the week, she started to open a little bit more. And that's when I was like, okay, this person actually wants to be my friend. So this is to say that it's not that Germans or Europeans in general are cold. It's just that they're more reserved, especially Germans. That means that you have to work your way out to actually make friends. They are not going to give you this confidence, or they are not going to tell you all of their secrets the first time that you meet them. You have to speak and make conversation and go out and talk about different things to actually build that relationship. But the good thing is that once you get to that point, they actually become really good friends, and they help you in, even if you have like bad situations happening in that moment, they will be there for you. So don't see it as if they were cold. See it more as they are not as open as we are. Because I know that Latin Americans in general, because I know that if I speak to you, to each of you, I can make friends right away, because we're just like that. You see someone in the street and you're like, he's a Latino, she's a Latino, let's talk. Even though we don't speak the same language, because you are Brazilians, I know we have the same spirit. With Europeans in general, it's a bit different.
And you know, I always like to give the vision of the other side, is that I am French and I live in Mexico. And when I arrived in Mexico, I was already kind of familiar with the culture. I was speaking Spanish more or less, but the way people interact for me, it was too much, because maybe for you Latinos, like the people in Europe are very distant, are very cold in a way. But for me, like when I arrived in Mexico, I had all these people like very friendly, like very touchy, very like, you know, I don't know you, bro, but you're like you're too close to me too fast. And you know, from like the European perspective, for us it's very weird at the beginning to have like all this good energy,
love,
like you know, but it's just in
this warmth.
Yes, exactly. All this warmness is very strange. Now I live in Mexico, since sometimes I can deal with it, but at the beginning it was a bit like, okay, well, that's that you are very close. You are very friendly to me, but I don't know you. But it is just like a cultural shock. So it's important to say, like, if you feel like someone is very distant from you in Germany, don't take it personally, because it is just the way we are educated. It's like the atmosphere in which we are being educated.
It's just a culture.
Yes, so you have to adapt. As me, as a French, I had to be more like open, more friendly, more like just like making friends rapidly. You will get there and you will have to learn patience, basically.
Yeah, you do. And also you have to be patient with yourself, but you also have to pressure yourself a little bit, because something that you mentioned here is punctuality. Pünktlichkeit, the German would say.
Say it again.
Which is basically punctuality. Pünktlichkeit.
It sounds wonderful. Wunderbar.
Wunderbar. So punctuality, that's something that we as Latinos, we don't use a lot. We might
Thank
say
you.
we're gonna meet
Thank you
at
for your honesty,
3 and we
Arabella.
meet at 4 or 5, but it really doesn't matter to us because we're gonna be ready when the time comes, and life's just easy. You don't have to take it so seriously. But in Europe, especially Germans or Swiss or the northern countries like Sweden or Norway, they do take it really, really seriously, more than the French, more than the Spanish, more than the Italians. So if you're going to go to Germany, please be on time. Please be on time, because for them it's just it's not respectful for them if they're saying that they're giving you an hour and you're not arriving at the time. Even I remember one time I was with my I had a friend. She was German and half Mexican, and she spent most of her life in Mexico. But when she went to Germany, she studied it for like 10 years. When I went to see her, we were waiting for the train, and the train was 1 minute late, just 1 minute late. And she was like, the system is crashing. I don't even know what they're doing. What is happening? What's going on with the system and the government and all of these organizations? So Germans take it really seriously.
And then you
Please
get to
be on
Mexico,
time.
the train is like,
And then you get
2
to
hours
Mexico.
late.
It doesn't really matter. And I think it's the same thing in Brazil. It doesn't really matter. You're gonna see your friends, if your friends, your real friends. If they say they're gonna come, they're gonna come. And if you're gonna come a little bit late, it's just the way it is. It's a chaos, our countries. Everything happens.
Yes.
So buses. Oh yeah. In Germany, you are sure, it's almost certain that you're gonna get your bus at the time that it's expected. If it says 7, you're gonna get it at 7. Maximum 30 seconds, 20 seconds, maybe a minute, and that's we're going too far away. And they're going to complain about it.
You have Anna, which is saying it's almost friendly to be late if you're visiting me.
It's normal. It doesn't really affect us.
That's the spirit.
We are immune to that, but Germans are not. So please be very careful with that, because they will take it like an insult if you come late.
No,
Or if you're really gonna go, if you're really late and you're like, sorry dude, I cannot make it, just send a message and tell them either I'm not gonna come, or I am not going to be on time, and I'll see you at another spot. I'll meet you there. Because that will basically break their hearts.
True. I think Anna had the questions. If you want to do it.
I think my question, I already had that question, but I was just waiting for you to get into it. But I was wondering, Annabelle, I'm staying in Frankfurt, and by my research, I was seeing that Frankfurt has a lot of different cultures, like different exchange students from another places. And I know that Germans can be difficult. I get it, but I was wondering about the multicultural side of German. Here in Brazil, for example, we have a lot of exchange students from Colombia, Peru, American countries. And how does that play in German? Do you guys know anything about how is the international student scene there?
You're right. So in Germany, and I think in any European country that receives international students, you have two sides. You have the Erasmus side of the people who come from different European countries, from Poland, from Spain, from Portugal, from Norway, to the country of destination where they're going to study. And then you have the other side of the other international students that do not belong to the European Union. So then you have Mexicans, Colombians, Brazilians, Argentinians, South Africans, Moroccans, Japanese, Chinese. We had a lot of people from Hong Kong, actually, where I was studying. And it's a mix. It's like a soup of vegetables. You have your carrots, you have your onions, you have your potatoes. You can choose who you interact with, but in my school, which was a multicultural school, because we received mostly students from other backgrounds, from other countries, we were trying to build an essence and get together. Since we were all speaking the same language, it was kind of easier to actually talk to each other and make friends, and we were really open to each other. If you go to the German side, it's not that they are difficult to deal with, it's more that they are different from all the things that you grew up with. So you kind of have to get used to it to actually make friends. And they're really good friends, the Germans. They really have good values. They respect many rules, but they also help you to have a really good time. So you don't have to be afraid of not making German friends all the time, because if you are going to study in a school that is multicultural, I'm sure that you're going to find friends, and I'm sure that you're going to connect with someone, even though they come from different backgrounds than you. Of course, I'm going to say this because I'm biased, because I'm from Mexico. The first time that I went to a cinema that I had Spanish, I saw 3 girls. One was Peruvian and 2 of them were Mexican. The first thing that I said was like, hola, hola. And they said it back and we started talking, and it was easier to connect with them. It's true that if you're Brazilian, it's going to be easier to connect with Latinos in general, with Brazilians, with Mexicans, with Argentinians, with Colombians. It doesn't really matter. But that doesn't mean that you cannot make friends outside that sphere, that Latin American sphere. For example, for some situations, maybe it's easier for you to connect with this kind of people that come from the same part of the world. But if you want to actually push forward and push your limits, you can try and make friends with the local people, with other Europeans who are not much that different than us in mentality. It's just that our cultures are slightly different, but we come from the same background, let's say. So you don't have to worry about that, as long as you have an open mind, as long as you try slightly harder or slightly different that the things that you're doing here, you're going to make good friends and you're going to have a good time. Especially if you want to have fun in that particular city you're in. It's really good to meet people who are locals, who are going to let you know where to go, what to see, where not to go, of course, because there are places that can also be dangerous for you. So just try to make friends in a different way. But it's not that difficult, it's just that you have to get used to it.
It's a good point, and I think, like, as a French living in Mexico, I can say you have to find a good balance between having your like local friends, which are like basically German friends, so you can enjoy the culture and benefit from the integration. But because you live in another country doesn't mean you have to be completely forget where you come from. And I think it's good to have like 50% friends which are like from other country, from Germany, from Africa, from Asia, but it's also good to have some friends which come from Brazil or at least from Latin America. So, you know, you're not completely disconnected from your roots. And it's also important because you will be 6 months, maybe 1 year, maybe 2 years far from home. And it's always good to have like people who can understand what you are living, what you are passing through. So find a good balance. Don't stay just with Brazilian people. Don't stay just with German people. Just try to find a balance between the two worlds, right?
Try to mix your group of friends. You have some friends for certain situations and you have some friends for other situations, which is good. That is kind of lifeless balances in general.
There's Anna, which is saying I'm introverted as well, so I will have to practice my social skills. But you're like a Brazilian introvert, so it's like being like a German extrovert, I think.
To be honest, yeah, that's the way to go, because they're really closed in certain social cues. It's not very explicit for them to go out and make friends. And also, I heard before that I didn't have this when I was in university, but there is like a program for certain universities called like a university's body, which you go to the university you ask them like, I want to have a local that can help me, a friend or whatever. I didn't have this because my university was built different, but if they have this program in your university, you might be able to ask for someone that can guide you through the city, even if he's not or she is not going to become your friend. That might help you get used to the city, to the transport, the accommodation, whatever. Being a little drunk at parties helps. that helps all the time.
He knows
Wherever you go, that helps. But maybe if you're not entirely comfortable at the beginning, you can go and try to see if your university has this program, and then maybe try and go out and make some friends with this person, or he can or she present you to someone else, introduce you to someone else.
And the good thing about what he's saying, Rafael, is that if you have a A2 in German, you drink a few beers and then you'll get like a C1 very easily. How do you think I learned Spanish? Okay, how to make German friends? I think we already talked about it. So you have like the punctuality, the patience. I think you also have like the importance of being very organized. In another way, if you want to be friends with a German guy, you have to be very precise in the organization of your event. So it has to be okay. You want to do, we're gonna go to this museum, we're gonna meet at this time, we're gonna do it, we're gonna do this later. So you have to be very like organized in what you plan to do with your friends. I don't know if you felt that, Annabella.
Yes, I do remember that feeling. I don't know, for us in Latin America, it's not very common to actually organize like a big party, or of course if it's it's kind of that. It's kind of making a little schedule. Like, let's say I'm gonna go out with a friend. We're gonna meet for coffee, and then we're gonna go to the in Munich they have the Oktoberfest. So let's say you go. The plan is to go to a cafe, then to go to the Oktoberfest, stay there for a couple of hours, and then maybe go out to the city center to get some drinks or party more. So it's kind of that feeling. It doesn't really mean that you have to really plan everything. It just only means that you have to know a little bit what you're going to do, and they have to know a little bit what we're going to do, because to be fair, Germans or Europeans in general are not very spontaneous as us, and party is not always around the corner. You have to walk a lot to find a good party, and you have to know the spots, because something that it's a little bit tricky is that of course, as you know, we have different values in our coins, in the way we spend money, in the way we have money. So in Europe, you don't really want to waste a lot of money because it's expensive. So you have to know where to go to have a good time and not spend that much money on something that you really like. So it's more or less that kind of idea. So don't take this pressure that you're gonna have to plan everything in advance, but you have to have an idea, and your friends also, your group of friends, of what you're going to do. If it's going to be just like a gathering in someone else's house, it's good. If it's like a party outside, or you're going to go to a garden and spend some time in there, it's good. But you have to know your limits and what people are willing to do with you or not. Of course, you will find friends along the way if you go to a wild party, but just be careful and be safe about it.
And also a good thing about Germany is also that you have the importance of the public places, which is not always the case in America Latina for reasons of safety. But when I was in Germany, you can just go to a park in the middle of the night, and you have people drinking, like doing a before, like a pre-copa, and it's basically like super safe. So you have like the importance of, you invite someone to a terrace, to a cafe, to a park to have some drinks, whatever the hours of the day. And basically it's how you make friends also, like the importance of public places. It's a way, it's very important to socialize and to make friends there. We're getting to the last part of the session. It's been 2 hours. We're like presenting, so we're getting to the end. Last thing, we talk about how to make friends, how to make friends. How do you find like a lover in German? Because the way to flirt is very different, no?
It is very different. I think the main difference that we have in Latin America from the Europeans in general is that the measure of love is more about actions in Europe than words. And in Latin America, I think we say a lot of cute things and good things and nice things, compliments, and then sometimes nothing happens. But that's just our way to get it into someone's heart, let's say. And in Germany or in Europe in general, I think you guys are more slightly more
independent in a way.
Not independent, I would say a little bit close to being so open about sharing feelings. And we don't do that. We like to touch, we like to kiss, we like to just hang around and even if you don't have a romantic interest in someone, you can touch the person and it's fine. You guys are not that open about that, and especially Germans, in a way, are not very open about that. But just as friendships, you just have to work your way out. You have to meet the person, speak more with this person, know their interests, know their goals or whatever they want, and in a certain way you will match, and that is fine. But you also have to kind of know the German mentality, the European mentality, to actually get to know someone that deep, because they do not share the specific details or personal details about their life in the first date. That doesn't happen. Maybe in the first date, you as Brazilians, you can speak about your grandma, your parents, everything that's going on with your life. But the conversation with Europeans is more little by little. You will build up to it. But that doesn't mean that you cannot find love over there. It just means that it's different from the things that you're used to it. So you just have to get used to that situation, pass through that if you're interested in doing that, and then you will find someone who actually will connect with you. There are many people in Europe who are very interesting and have different ways of being that might be something that you're looking for. So don't close yourself to that specific part of the world. It will help you to find something different and new.
Yeah, and a last point, which is very important. Well, you and I, we live in Mexico, so we know like sharing the. So if a guy invites a girl to go out in Mexico, normally that the guy is gonna pay for everything, and then you, even if you stay with the girl, you still gonna like invite her to the restaurant to take a drink, and it's completely normal. Like it's like the 50-50. But in Germany, if you're a guy and you want to pay for everything, not only it's not part of the culture, but also it can be interpreted as something bad. It can be counterproductive.
It could be like this person is taking advantage of me.
Yes.
Which in Latin America it doesn't happen. If we are talking about heterosexual couples, you have the guy who's paying for everything and the girl who's like, okay, it's fine. At a certain point, maybe you can share the bill or share the expenses. But in Germany, at the beginning, it's 50-50 if you're going out on a date. And there's even a meme where there's the girl and there's a German guy. It's a contrast between a Latina and a German. And the Latinos are like, yeah, we had such a good time. We were eating this and eating that. And the German is just like, okay, it's 100 euros, let's say, for example. And the Latino is just like, okay, we can split it. And then they split it. And the Latino is just like, I have 49 euros. And then the German is like, it's okay, I can pay for everything. And then you can wire transfer me later. That is an exaggeration of what happens. It's not like he's gonna be like very transfer me the money, the €1 that you owe me. Maybe not, But this is just to say that in Europe in general, and more so in Germany, it's a culture where everything is shared. The role of a woman and the role of a man are very equal at this point, that it's common to see couples going out and sharing the bill all the time. And it's even weirder for some German girls, let's say, if a man, a Latino man, buys everything and pays for everything, they are going to feel like, oh,
Awkward.
Oh.
Like, yes, what do
yeah,
you want?
this is awkward. What do you want? Are you trying to buy me? So you have to be aware of this if you want to find someone in Germany. Everything is going to be 50-50, and even more than French or Spanish, the Germans are very, not strict, but they really take it serious, this kind of rule, when going out.
No, it's super important. You have Rafael in the chat, which is realizing he's gonna save lots of money in Germany.
True, you can save a lot of money
You're
if you're trying to get some German girls.
No, so it's important.
But like, as they said, this is crazy, because here in Brazil, more common stuff to do is to pay everything as a man when you're dating a girl. So I really didn't know that it happened in Germany.
And it's the same.
So you can save a lot of money.
It's the same.
Yeah, great.
It's Latin American general.
Yes. It's important to know it because you want to be like a gentleman, to be a caballero, and as a man, like to invite the girl to go to the restaurant, to go to drink something. But if you do it in Germany, it can be counterproductive because it's gonna be like interpreted like, yeah, this guy is wanted to buy me, and it can be like very not efficient. So you have to take this into account because it will avoid you some weird situation.
But be careful, because that can work the other way. There are some people who might interpret that as like, wow, this has never happened in my life. I've never met a guy who does this for me.
True.
So just be aware that there might be some German boys or German girls who will see this as like, wow, nobody has taken this much care of me. So it depends on the person, it depends on the dynamic, it depends on what has happened between the two of you, but it can also be a good thing.
Yes. No, definitely. It's why like an exchange is very interesting, that at the end you go out of your comfort zone and you have like to feel a different culture, and to sometimes you can like import your way of seeing things, your way of behaving, and it can work. And sometimes like you have to adapt it. So sometimes you can make people change, sometimes you have to be the one changing, and it's always like to find the balance, and it's gonna depend on the people you interact. So that's why it's also interesting. That's always like each interaction is like kind of an adventure.
But don't be afraid of trying to get
exactly.
someone in Germany.
Go for it.
Just go for it. Trial and error, like everything in life, and see how it goes for you. Maybe you're comfortable with this kind of relationship, maybe you're not. But that depends on you and how you see things.
Yes. It's been 2 hours. We have starting this masterclass. I don't know if like the last one staying here have questions, and if it's not the case, we can close the session. I see we have Jade, we have Rafael. If you have questions, guys, that's the moment. I think everything was clear now.
I think so. Yeah.
Look, guys, in case you have last questions, I'm gonna share last time the WhatsApp number so you can get in touch with me. If you wake up in the night and think about Sperrkonto or think about other administrative shit, you can send me a message here. You have the QR code here. And yes, well, first of all, thanks a lot, Annabelle, for sharing your experience. I think it was very interesting. And,
you're welcome.
And yes, guys, Rafael, you have a question. Please go for it.
Yeah, just a question about the language specifically. Like, I confess that I don't know any German. Like, I really don't speak in German. I know English, and the course that I'll take there in the university will be offered in English, so it's okay. But I know that the life outside of the campus, knowing Germany, knowing German will be important. So I just want to ask you guys if you recommend any specific resource to study Germany, like for a person who already knows English. I guess it's more easier because like it's an Anglo-Saxon language also. Basically, that is that, resource to learn German.
I would say that if you are interested in learning German, you can reach out to your school and ask for courses, complementary courses. Or sometimes where I lived, I have a roommate who was, she reached out to a group of people who were learning German for the first time, and they have like a community where they were speaking and exchanging, and there was a professor and wherever. Sometimes these things can be out of the school. If you try to stick on Facebook groups or maybe WhatsApp groups or Instagram, maybe you can find some cheaper alternatives, or maybe online, or Duolingo even can help you to speak a basic German. It's not that you have to speak the language, it's more that you have to try. Maybe instead of saying hello, you can say hallo. Maybe instead of saying sorry, you can say Entschuldigung. And it's just the little things that make the difference. That doesn't mean that you have to pressure yourself to speak the language. It's more like if you're interested in, you can try and find ways to learn it. If not, just learn a few things through ChatGPT or through Duolingo, and you will be fine. Everyone will try to make their best to speak your language also.
And a last recommendation I can give you is to go on an application called Tandem. And Tandem, basically, it connects you with people who want to speak your language. So you live in Brazil, you're gonna get in touch with someone living in Germany, and so you, as a German, you will speak with. So it's like a German wants to speak in Portuguese, you want to speak in German. So it's like you speak the both language, and it's a good way to start to have like a real conversation between the two languages. And I think it's a very good way to start, because you don't have a perfect German. The people who gonna speak with you don't have a perfect Portuguese, so you can find like some middle point to have like a conversation. And you do it like 1 month before going to Germany, and it will be very helpful.
Okay, great. I got it. Thank you, guys. That's all for me.
Yes, con gusto, con gusto. Well, I think we're getting to the end of the session. So, guys, thank you for attending to the session. Thank you. Muito obrigado, Anabel, por su presencia.
De nada.
And if you have more questions, guys, you have my WhatsApp, you have my email. So don't hesitate. We keep in touch. Don't worry about the process. I think sometimes it can be very stressful, but in the end, Annabelle is saying muito prazer, sí. I know the process can be very stressful, but in the end, when you dominate it, when you know how it works, it's not that complicated. You have to be just very rigorous. And the good thing with the German administration is that they ask lots of things, but if you do it as it is supposed to be done, it's gonna work. So, well, thank you for your presence. We keep in touch, and yes, good luck for all the process, and welcome to Germany.